the cameras flashed, the crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a brand new obsession.
Oh, they absolutely did.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today's deep dive, I mean, it is a massive one. We are unpacking a huge stack of sources today.
It's huge.
Right, all anchored by this viral YouTube headline that just, well, it set the internet on fire. The headline was, Taylor Swift's friends just revealed new wedding details.
Which, immediately grabs you.
Exactly. And the mission of our deep dive today is to really map out what is arguably the most anticipated celebrity wedding of the decade between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. We're looking at the $2 billion PR and financial machinery that is working overtime right now to keep this all a secret.
Right. Because we are not just looking at leaked guest lists or floral arrangements here. But to really understand what we're looking at with this wedding planning, you have to rewind a bit, right? Back to August 2025.
Right, the engagement.
The engagement that literally broke the internet. And if you're listening to this, you might be thinking, well, we've had massive celebrity engagements before.
Sure, we have.
But this breached containment in a way that we rarely see anymore.
Oh, it shattered the algorithmic silos we all live in today. Because normally, pop culture events stay within their specific demographic bubbles.
Exactly.
But look at the anatomy of that August 2025 reaction. You had Lil Wayne literally pausing his concert in Kansas City.
I remember that video. He just grabs the microphone and shouts out "trailer" to the crowd.
Right. And then within the exact same hour, Justin Bieber is online posting comments, wishing them love, like his with Haley.
Oh, and Reese Witherspoon.
Ooh.
She echoed the sentiments of, the entirety of Middle America by just commenting, all of us.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
And it spilled out of the entertainment industry entirely. I mean, you had Formula One teams like Alpine and McLaren dropping TikToks about it. Katy Perry, Selena Gomez, Ava Levine, Nelly Furtado, they were all weighing in. It felt like a true, genuine monoculture moment.
It really did. And the mechanics of that monoculture moment, that is exactly why their current strategy is so fascinating. The engagement was a global event because it united three incredibly powerful, distinct ecosystems.
Right, the Swifties, the hardcore NFL fan base, and then just the general public.
Exactly. People who just love a good narrative. But, when you create a monster that big, feeding it becomes dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
So the pivot from that explosive public engagement to the absolute radio silence of the actual wedding planning, it's giving us our first major mystery of this deep dive.
Which is this blueprint of total secrecy. Because the bold headline sweeping through all our sources right now is that they're aiming for a lockdown black box event. The rumors point to them drawing inspiration from two very specific celebrity weddings.
Ed Sheeran and Blake Lively.
Right. Which tells us a lot about the methodology they might be deploying here.
It does. Because Ed Sheeran's wedding is basically the gold standard for stealth in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't just ask people to keep quiet. He utilized decoy locations. He restricted the airspace over his private property.
Wait, restricted airspace? Like legally?
Yes, legally. And he likely utilized extreme non-disclosure agreements for vendors, like people who didn't even know who the client was until the actual day of the event.
That is intense. And then with Blake Lively, the strategy was just extreme curation, right?
Right. The public only saw what she explicitly allowed Martha Stewart weddings to publish. So you got, pictures of a dessert table.
A bouquet, maybe.
Exactly. Never the dress, never the guests.
Oh, wait, let me stop you there, because I have a real issue with this comparison. Are we really supposed to believe that two of the most recognizable humans on the planet can pull off an Ed Sheeran-level disappearing act?
It's difficult, sure.
I mean, I find it hard to believe. It feels like trying to hide an elephant in a glass house.
Yeah.
There are rumored dates and venues flying everywhere. Our sources mentioned a potential June 13th event in Rhode Island, and then suddenly there's a rumor about a July 3rd blowout in New York, potentially tied to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Right, the Madison Square Garden rumor.
So with their level of fame, is a secret wedding actually possible? Or is this total secrecy thing just a PR strategy to keep the press guessing?
Well, you're hitting on the exact mechanism of celebrity misdirection. You don't try to hide the elephant. You just point the public toward a dozen empty glass houses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you leak conflicting information, June 13th, July 3rd, Rhode Island, Manhattan, you exhaust the press. The paparazzi have finite resources. They literally cannot stake out 6 locations simultaneously.
That makes so much sense. And add to that the fact that Kylie Kelce's out here on red carpets looking reporters dead in the eye and swearing she knows absolutely nothing.
Yes, she is the perfect shield.
Using family members as credible deniers.
Exactly, because if Kylie truthfully doesn't know the exact coordinates, she can't slip up. You compartmentalize the information, and we are already seeing them operate on completely different frequencies to keep everyone off balance.
Oh, for sure. Well, let's look at the pre-wedding parties, or at least how they spent a recent weekend. Travis was out in California with his brother Jason, his former teammate Ross Travis, and the comedian Drewski.
Right, out in LA?
Yeah, he goes to a Chris Lake concert in LA. And when a Taylor Swift remix drops, he goes viral. He grabs the spotlight, hypes up the crowd, and yells, "I bet y'all didn't expect to hear Tay-Tay tonight."
He is effectively functioning as a lightning rod.
A very loud, very public lightning rod. I mean, he's spotted watching the World Cup. He's at NASCAR with Patrick Mahomes. Meanwhile, on that exact same weekend, Taylor is reportedly tucked away at her Rhode Island estate, having this quiet, heavily guarded gathering with her closest friends.
People like Abigail Anderson. Look at the psychological dynamic there. Travis has spent over a decade in the NFL. He is an extroverted showman. He's conditioned to perform in front of loud, chaotic, hostile crowds.
Yeah, he thrives on it.
He loves being the center of attention. Taylor, on the other hand, she plays to 90,000 people a night, but her offstage survival mechanism is fiercely guarding her private sanctuaries.
Right.
So Travis, being loud and public in LA, acts as a decoy. He's soaking up all the media's attention, which allows Taylor the literal physical space to quietly orchestrate things on the East Coast without, helicopters hovering over her roof.
But the biggest shock at that Rhode Island party wasn't who was there.
No, it wasn't.
It was who was missing. And later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the $2 billion twist nobody saw coming. But first, exploring who wasn't at that Rhode Island party naturally leads us to the heavily scrutinized guest list. Because anytime you try to lock down a high-profile event, the guest list becomes a geopolitical minefield.
Oh, 100%. The absence of a key inner circle member usually signals a massive shift in brand alignment behind the scenes.
And the shocking fact here, the missing piece, was Blake Lively. Historically, she has been one of Taylor's closest allies, but she was noticeably absent from Rhode Island, reportedly spending the weekend alone in New York instead.
Yeah, and when you look at the cultural context of the past year, that absence makes a lot of strategic sense.
Because of the movie drama?
Exactly. The friction stems from the intense public backlash surrounding the It Ends With Us legal battle and movie promotion. Lively's press tour was widely criticized as tone-deaf and, frankly, chaotic.
Right, it was everywhere on TikTok.
And Taylor Swift's entire brand, especially right now, is built on precision, control, and highly calculated optics. Bringing someone who is currently a lightning rod for negative press into the innermost sanctum of a highly secretive wedding, that is a massive PR risk.
So it's pure brand protection. Despite the distance, insiders are saying that Lively will be there with bells on if invited, but they made sure to emphasize to reporters that it remains a huge if.
Which demonstrates that this guest list is being curated not just by friendship, but by liability.
Wow. Meanwhile, the confirmed list, the people who are in, is painting this fascinating picture of worlds colliding. You have Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, obviously. You have Zoe Kravitz, who is reportedly attending despite some insiders whispering about a recent cooling-off period between her and Taylor.
Which is interesting in itself.
Harry Styles is officially out, but simply due to his tour scheduling. But the detail I love the most, the absolute best part, is that Kansas City Chiefs staff-like head coach Andy Reid and general manager Brett Veach have reportedly already been fitted for tuxedos.
Just picture the visual contrast of that for a second.
I'll try.
You have Andy Reid, a man completely synonymous with NFL grit and playbooks, in a tailored tuxedo, mingling in a room full of global pop stars and Hollywood A-listers.
Eating tiny hors d'oeuvres.
Exactly. It perfectly encapsulates why this union is such a cultural anomaly.
And what those Hollywood A-listers and friends are planning for the couple is actually incredibly wholesome. It really surprised me.
Me too.
Selena Gomez is reportedly organizing a massive karaoke session for all the guests. And Gigi Hadid and the Haim sisters have apparently spent weeks compiling a 6 to 7 minute video montage highlighting footage of Taylor just smiling and laughing at Travis's humor.
Think about the psychological function of those specific gifts. You are talking about a couple whose every public move generates millions of dollars. They receive custom luxury goods constantly.
Right, you can't buy them a toaster.
Exactly. But Este Haim reportedly told them, quote, "Have as much fun as possible, take it in." because the inner circle recognizes the danger of the media circus.
It's surprisingly grounded advice for people who basically live on private jets.
Because a homemade video montage and a karaoke machine, these are deeply personal, aggressively normal things. By forcing them to sit down and watch a homemade video, their friends are actively pulling them out of the stratosphere of their own fame.
Grounding them.
Right. They're anchoring the event in genuine intimacy before the corporate machinery takes over.
Which is the perfect pivot. And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. But let's get into the corporate machinery. Because while the friends are planning heartfelt montages, Taylor's father has been planning something much more cutthroat: the financial merger.
This is where the fairy tale narrative collides head-on with the reality of empire building.
The bold headline here is that Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift, has drafted an ironclad prenup. And for anyone listening who thinks prenups are just, standard celebrity protocol, we have to look at the staggering financial breakdown here.
The numbers are dizzy.
Taylor is worth an estimated $1.6 billion. Travis Kelce brings about $120 million to the table from his NFL salary, his massive podcast deals, endorsements, and investments.
Right, and the mechanical complexity of protecting a $1.6 billion estate is just mind-boggling. We aren't just talking about checking accounts here.
Not at all.
We are talking about master recording rights, future catalog valuations, global touring shell companies, real estate trusts. I mean, just the sheer brand equity of the name Taylor Swift.
And insiders describe Scott Swift as a fist in a velvet glove. He is known as a warm, welcoming guy, but he is fundamentally the ruthless protector of Taylor's assets. The quote from Rob Shooter's report really nails the dynamic perfectly. He said, "Taylor has romance in her heart and Scott has business in his head."
And that separation of duties is essential when you are managing an enterprise of this magnitude.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. If Taylor is negotiating the emotional foundation of a marriage, she cannot simultaneously be negotiating the intellectual property rights of her future albums in the event of a divorce.
That would be a nightmare.
Right. So Scott acting as the financial enforcer is actually a protective measure for the relationship itself.
But it generated a huge reaction from the sports world. NFL insider Clarence Hill Jr. tweeted about it, expressing absolute shock that Travis signed this ironclad document without a single moment of hesitation. He just wrote, "Imagine that."
Because in the sports world, egos usually clash over contracts.
Exactly. So I have a question for you. Putting the business logic aside for a second, does having your father act as the financial enforcer kill the romance? Or is it the ultimate luxury to have someone else handle the awkward money talks?
I would argue it's the ultimate luxury. Think about the friction that money causes in average relationships. Now multiply that friction by $2 billion.
Point taken.
When dealing with nearly $2 billion in combined assets, a prenup isn't a sign of mistrust. It's just smart, essential business. Travis's immediate willingness to sign without pushing back is a massive power move of its own.
Wow, a power move. I like that.
It neutralizes the financial tension completely. By signing without ego, he is essentially showing immense respect for the empire that Scott and Taylor have built. It proves that the emotional bond is secure precisely because the financial one is locked down.
So he secures the emotional relationship by legally separating himself from the business one. That is fascinating. And it makes so much sense when you look at how they're behaving publicly. While the finances and the logistics are locked down in total privacy, their public declarations of love, these public eras, are reaching unprecedented heights.
The juxtaposition between those airtight legal documents behind closed doors and the sweeping romantic gestures on stage is just a masterclass.
Let's talk about the main event that had everyone reeling.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce making a jaw-dropping surprise appearance on stage at Wembley Stadium during the Eras Tour.
The tuxedo?
Yes. He wasn't just sitting in the VIP tent. He was in a full pucks and top hat. He literally swept Taylor off her feet, carrying her across the stage. A stadium of 90,000 people collectively lost their minds.
And the stagecraft of that moment serves a very specific mechanical purpose.
Well, look at the star-studded crowd for that stagecraft. The VIP tent at Wembley was insane. You had Jason and Kylie Kelce, Tom Cruise, Paul McCartney, Nicola Coughlan.
Don't forget the Royals.
Right. Prince William taking a viral selfie with George and Charlotte, alongside Taylor and Travis. It was a literal collision of American pop royalty and actual British royalty.
When you create a spectacle of that magnitude, you provide the press with weeks of high-grade content.
And Taylor returned the favor just a few weeks later. She crashed Travis's tight-end university concert in Nashville.
The TEU crash.
Yeah, she shows up in this asymmetrical black dress, gets on stage, and sings Love Story with Lainey Wilson. Taylor specifically credited George Kittle for the request, and during the lyric, he knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring. She purposely flashed her engagement ring to the crowd.
It's brilliant. They are weaponizing their own mythology.
Even our family is getting in on the Easter eggs. On a recent episode of the New Heights podcast, Jason Kelce is talking with Andrew Whitworth and Ryan Fitzpatrick. He casually tricks Travis into guessing the number of teams Fitzpatrick played for.
And Travis falls for it.
Totally. Travis thinks about it and says, might be 13. And Jason instantly pounces, if it was 13, that's a lucky number.
And the Swifties, whose entire internet existence is based on decoding the number 13, they caught that instantly.
Oh, immediately. Travis just laughed and admitted his brother tricked him. But if we look at the totality of all these moments, the Wembley tuxedo stunt, the TEU duet in Nashville, the podcast slip-ups, even them having a cozy Mother's Day brunch in Philly where Taylor met baby Finley, and both brothers revealing a 25-pound weight loss, what is the actual strategy here?
Well,
Because why be so incredibly loud if you were trying to plan a secret wedding?
it is the feed the beast strategy, executed at the highest possible level. The paparazzi and the tabloid media, they operate like an insatiable machine. If you give them nothing, they will dig through your trash, they'll hack emails, they'll stalk your family to find something.
Right.
But if you voluntarily hand them 4K, professionally lit, stadium-sized romantic spectacles, they feast on that. You satisfy the public's appetite with this highly curated candy.
So you give them the viral moment so they stop digging for the private ones.
Precisely. They are masterfully feeding the public exactly what they want to buy privacy for the actual wedding.
Yeah.
And of course, their upcoming globe-trotting honeymoon, all before Travis has to report to training camp for his 13th or maybe 14th NFL season.
They're buying their privacy with public spectacle. It is a brilliant trade-off. We have seen celebrity marriages before, and we have seen massive pop culture moments. But as you process everything we've unpacked today, the decoy locations, the $2 billion corporate merger, the calculated stagecraft, it leaves you with a much bigger thought to mull over.
It really does.
We've seen celebrity marriages, but we've rarely seen a merger of two entirely different cultural juggernauts, the NFL and the global pop machine, operating at their absolute peaks. When the vows are said and the $2 billion ink dries, how will this union reshape the power dynamics of the entertainment industry forever?
That is the ultimate question. We are watching history being written in real time.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.